Hello, boys and girls. It is lesson 1-9, and we're doing traditional subtraction. We're going to get right down to it. We're going to look at the math message, and I'd like you to try to solve these problems using different methods on another piece of paper. All right, I want you to solve these things in a piece of paper, and if you have your notebook at home, we'll do it that way as well. Some of you still need to get notebooks from me, so remind me. Okay, now let's take a look at the first question. It's in the form of a word problem, so when you think about including a label with that answer, and then we'll look at some other two examples. And we're us to think about the different methods of subtraction that we know, and maybe ones that we are not familiar with yet. So, all right, Caleb had $90. He spent $37 on books. How much money does he have left? All right, and then we have 235 minus 159. And then we have one more. That is 624 minus 358. Okay, so work on all of these problems. When we are done, pause or unpause the video, press play, and continue on with me. Please work on these on your own with minimal support on another piece of paper, okay? And I want you to try your best to do them before you watch any more of the video, okay? Are we ready? Go. Okay, so I hope you've worked on all of these, thought about trying to do them in different methods, at the very least, a method that's comfortable for you and without any support. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one. And the first one is our word problem. So we're going to use our cubes method. Okay, and we're going to keep it simple. We're going to pick a nice easy color to look at. All right, so $90. Uh-oh. No, my pen tool. And $37. That's a little better. I think I just need to not push so hard. Okay, yeah, 90 minus 37. Now, one method that some of you may have used, maybe a while ago now, but one method is called counting up method. And I'm going to do that over here a little bit. Or, I'm just going to come down here to do it. It's an easy enough problem to kind of rewrite down here. 90. Yep, there we go. Minus 37 equals, and I'm going to put a letter C for Caleb, okay? And we're going to think about counting up from the lower number to the higher number to get our answer. And there's a few different ways that people do it. Sometimes they do it along a number line, and they think about little jumps that they make. And the way I do it is I think about looking at the numbers and I say, all right, so I have 37, I have 90, and I'm going to jump to the next round number, the next easy number, which is 40. And then I can jump by tens pretty easily to get to 90. So I'm just going to make one more jump up to 90. And that's not so bad. It's just two kind of simple jumps, right? A jump of 3, and then a jump of another 50. And our answer, we can see that 3, would be these two numbers added together, which then we could say is 53 is equal to C, right? Which is our answer. And it's not just 53, but we want to make sure we're including our dollars, $53, right? Now, there are other methods for subtraction too, and that's what we'll do with this next problem. All right, we're going to do the traditional one next, okay? 235 minus 159. I'm just going to do it right here. 235 minus 159. And you know what? I changed my mind. I'm actually going to do it over on the grid paper. I'd like to be able to line up my numbers a little better, right? And you should too. So 235 minus 159. I'm hoping my pen tool cooperates so I can write neat numbers for all of us to see. Now, traditional subtraction is where we start in the ones place and we might need to do some regrouping. We might need to say, okay, can I subtract 5 minus 9? We always take from the larger number. So the larger number overall is 235. So that's the number we're taking from when we think about subtraction traditionally. So we're not taking from this 9, we're taking from this 5. And can we subtract 5 minus 9 on its own? No, we can't, because 5 minus 9 is bigger than 5, right? And otherwise, we'd get into negative numbers, and that's not something we're talking about today. We're thinking about how are we going to regroup this number so that we can subtract it easily. So, all right, 5 minus 9, we can't do it. So we're going to regroup this 3 and make it a 2. And this becomes now a 15. So pause a second. Wait a minute. What did I just do? How did that happen? That is the confusing part sometimes for subtraction or addition when we regroup. I changed this 3 into a 2. But what is this really? This is 3 tens. So 3 tens, if I take 3 tens and I split them up into 2 tens and 1 extra 10, I can then take one of those extra tens and turn them into ones, right? And I can say, all right, now instead of 5, I have 15. So that 110, those 10 ones is now added to this 5. And I can say I have 15 minus 9. Can I do that now? Absolutely. And that's 6. Okay. Now, can I subtract 2 tens minus 5 tens? No. Again, we need to do more regrouping. So I'm going to go into the hundreds column, and I am going to regroup this to 100 and make it 100 plus 10 tens, which is the same thing as 100. And the 10 tens I'm going to put with these 2 tens. So now that I have 12 tens. 12 minus 5, I can do that. 12 minus 5 is 7. And now I have 1 minus 1, or 100 minus 100, which would be 0, but we don't write that in the front of it. So 76 is our answer. All right. Now, that was the traditional method. This one down here, I'm going to change my marker color just right here. This one was called, oh no, let's undo that. Ugh. I'm just going to type it in. All right, we'll just keep it simple. We'll label them with our typing tool. Okay. So, counting up. Okay, I'm going to move that right there. And then this one is traditional. All right, so we have one more method. And this one is actually the method that many people don't even realize they're doing. They think they're doing traditional, when in fact they're actually doing a slightly different method. And I'm going to call it what it is right away. I'm going to write it here. It is called the trade first method. All right. And trade first is almost identical to traditional, except we're going to watch one slight difference. Okay. And I'm going to write my problem. I'm going to switch over to drawing again. And I'm going to write my problem here. 624 minus 358. And what we do in trade first is we try to regroup everything in the beginning. I started doing this when I was a kid, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. I just saw that this would work. And I bet many of you are also doing the same thing and thinking it maybe is just traditional. This is slightly different. So, can we subtract 4 minus 8 or 4 ones minus 8 ones? No, we can't. So yes, we're taking from that larger number, right? 624 minus 358. We are taking from that larger number. So 4 minus 8, 2 tens minus 5 tens, and 600 minus 300, right? Those are what we have in each place value. So can we subtract 4 minus 8? No. Can we subtract 2 minus 5? No. So we're going to need to do some regrouping and some trading right away. So I'm going to change my 600 to 500, and I'm going to make this 2 into a 12, and then I'm going to regroup it to make it 11, and then I'm going to make this 4 into a 14. Okay, and I know that some folks, some people like to regroup very similarly. And I'm going to draw it kind of right next to here just to kind of show you another way that some of you might do it. We might also say, all right, instead of 6, this is 5. And then this 2 becomes a 12. And then we cross that out again and make it an 11. And then this 4 becomes a 14. I was always in the habit of just kind of putting the ones in front, and then I would cross them out if I needed to. So as you can see, both of these are very much the same. And after regrouping, a way to check if we did it right is by actually adding up what's in each place value. So for example, this 14 and this 11 and this 5, if we added up the values of each of these, we should get back to our original number. So let's say, for example, we have 500 plus, not 11, but 110 plus 14. If we added up all of that, would we get 624? We would. And that is a way of checking if you did regroup properly. If you borrowed properly, some people call it borrowing. We should be calling it regrouping because borrowing is a little different. Anyway, so yes, they add up to the same amount. Okay, so that means we regroup correctly, and now we can solve. We can get down to the solving. And look, we did all the trading right in the beginning, and now we can just solve for each place value. 14 minus 8 is 6. 11 minus 5 is 6. And 5 minus 3 is 2. And there you go. And it is the exact same problem over here too, so I'm not going to write it again. But those 3 methods are the methods that we can use in our subtraction work for lesson 1-9. And I'm going to show you quickly what the different pages are going to be. And then I'm going to give you some to work on initially, and then I'm going to want you to wait for our discussion as well. So what I'd like you to work on now that we have some time are the problems here on journal page 21, we have a variety of methods. And there's a try this, which is much bigger. And there's a something special you have to pay attention to here in this number that we're taking from the zeros. We have to be careful about that. And then we have also a word problem, okay? And if you have time, we can then, when we meet together, have discussions about, oops, right, there we go. This page 22 in our journal, and it has to do with using those 3 different strategies and choosing which method we prefer. And back here on this page, I'd like you to use traditional, but you may also use trade first. I want you to use the most efficient method for you, okay? And then we'll also have some practice with our home link, and then also a challenge, which is called number tile subtraction problems. All of these are going to be available, and you can use a variety of the methods, but I'd like you to find the one that's going to be efficient, which means quick and correct. Okay, so let's work on these on journal page 21, and we will check in about them on our next time we meet.